humility can go with being an aggressive business person. What's up, everyone? Chef T here, and I'm recording this video. I don't give a who about the lighting or the fact that it's dark or the fact that I'm driving, because I want to capture this thought. If you're watching this, then I guess I decided the thought was worth it. Listen to a really good podcast right now it's an interview of a membership site creation podcast about a guy named Jeff Goins, who is a writer. And he wrote a book I'd like to get called Real Artists Don't Starve. And it's making me think about the fact of entrepreneurship. And I've talked a little bit in some other videos about that little moment when you're putting yourself out there, meaning you're going to create something, you're going to sell something, even if you work for somebody else, and you're about to pick up the phone to make a cold call, or you're going to make a Facebook post or shoot a video, and there's that little bit of hesitation, right? There's that little bit of, I don't want to be that guy, right? I don't want to be that guy who asks somebody for something. I don't want to be that guy that asks somebody for something and gets rejected. And I don't want to be that guy who is talked about among some circles as maybe being a salesperson. Well, A, we're selling ourselves all the time. So the question is, how are you selling yourself? B, the haters, pretty much. If you're sitting in your little cubicle or your bedroom or your mind worried about what someone's going to say about you. Now, obviously, we all have social norms. I'm not saying you shouldn't give a hell about anybody, what their thoughts are of you, but at the end of the day, if you let that paralyze you or let that impact your creativeness to a degree that you could see it, feel it, or taste it, that you're like, I really would like to say this or do this or plate this plate of food or do whatever, I'm worried about what someone's going to say, you're losing and you're letting somebody else make you lose. But I also was really thinking about marketing in a business, or same thing, selling whatever you're selling, and having regret, right? Having regret that for that reason that you didn't do that thing, launch that promotion, send that email to your list, whatever, that you lose opportunity. And how does that feel? Now, how it may feel is non-existent, because you're not going to think about it because it's uncomfortable. Because you're going to say, well, whatever. Or you're just going to forget about it. But at the end of the day, if you wrote that down and reminded yourself in 6 weeks or 2 weeks or 6 days or whatever about that thing you were going to do that was going to maybe sell some things, and you let yourself look back at that and then go, I didn't sell it, I didn't send it, I didn't do it, I wonder how that affected my process, that's going to be a pretty bad feeling, right? So anyone's watching that may not know me, I'm Chef Tony Marchanti. I own a business in Bethesda, Maryland. I'm an entrepreneur. I do a lot of online stuff as well. If you don't know me, all good. I appreciate your time and attention. My restaurant's at cheftonysbethesda.com, and tmarchanti.com is my home site, where I need to post a lot more, but it's my kind of just me site, tmarchanti.com. Anyway, so I'm just making this video on the drive home from a busy night, or decently busy night, and I just thought about it. I just said, think about all that creative process. Interesting fact from the book, again, to pimp the book, not my book. The author's name is Jeff Goins, kind of like coins with a G, and he's a writer. He's a kind of a writer coach. He's an entrepreneur, and I don't know that much about him, but I've been following him along the way, time and here and there again, and he's a smart dude. He told a story about Michelangelo, famous artist you've heard of, painted Sistine Chapel. He was one of the richest artists ever. I think they did say for a fact he was paid $1 million to paint the Sistine Chapel. Now, first of all, if you remember when that happened, that was a long time ago, and $1 million had to be, I don't know what it was worth, but $1 million is a pretty good amount of money today. At the time he did that, I can't imagine. I'll look it up. I'll ask Alexa when I get home. Who is Michelangelo?
Michelangelo di Lodovico Bonardi Simoni was a Florentine sculptor, painter, architect, and poet of the High Renaissance who exerted an unparalleled influence on the development of Western art.
Alexa, thank you.
Sure.
But he was one of the richest. I think he died, when he died, he had like $50 million or 30. It was a lot of money. And again, time period, you're talking, quite a bit of multiples of what that is today. But he was an artist, and yet he was rich. So the starving artist concept, and also can be the poor me business person, right? The poor me who's afraid to reach out, is afraid to market, who's afraid to puff their chest up a little bit and I say, I've got something to sell, that kind of thing. I get it. Like, I was probably more of an introvert at certain parts of my life, but always interested in entrepreneurship. And I think early on I took on the role of not giving a about what anybody thought about my entrepreneurial ventures. I had an 89 Mustang GT, so that would mean I was probably 19 or 20, and I was in a network marketing business called Nu Skin. You may have heard of it. It's still around. It's actually still going strong, apparently, or back in the mix. And I created giant letters, like a stick-on messaging that went all over my car. It said, earn $5,000 a month, ask me how. And I mean like giant letters. They covered up the whole back of the car. It was all blacked out Mustang GT. It was awesome. Throaty exhaust, short throw shifter, lowered, just hooked. And tinted out black, all that. It was a great car. I loved it. But I was willing to put that out there and, get some people would occasionally talk shit or whatever. And, quite frankly, was I making $5,000 a month? Not with that one business. I was doing pretty well. I worked a job. I was a bartender. But I always had an entrepreneurial hustle. I had a company at the same time doing auto detailing. But my point is, you got to get beyond that sense of what's someone going to say. People around me, sometimes I get that vibe and I really say, I don't give a F. I mean, I just don't care because I can't, right? I have to work my hustle. Now, we're successful as a restaurant. I'm successful as a chef. I'm certainly not at the uppermost end of my game by any means. I've been in the restaurant game 30 years and done some good things. I'm super humble, but being humble doesn't mean, humility can go with being an aggressive business person. And I thought about this, which is what made me stop my video or stop my audio podcast and record this, was I fully believe that, as an example, the business I'm in mostly, which is my restaurant, I fully believe we have a phenomenal product. I fully believe that our food is delicious. I fully believe that our restaurant is fun to be at. It's a great environment. We're constantly building better and better service and getting more and more elements that benefit our guests. We have, hired more staff and have a great host and a great front of house staff, solid kitchen staff. My wife is in the kitchen. I have great line cooks. I'm supervising everything. We're just doing a really good job. And I'm not ashamed or embarrassed or shy to say that, right? So if I fully believe in my heart that we're doing a good job, does it mean we're perfect? Of course not. Does it mean that we're not going to get better tomorrow, next week, next year? Of course not. I want to consistently improve. But at the same moment, I can confidently say that we're good at what we do. So in terms of marketing, why would I want to be shy about marketing something I fully believe in? Could somebody call me up and say, hey, I was there 4 months ago and I had a crappy time? They probably could. Has anything ever happened bad? Of course it has. It's a restaurant. Things can happen and we can only recover, right? But the point is, you can't let that scared or shyness or lack of, or the humility can't bring your business down, right? You can't be scared to promote your business because you're worried about what somebody might say. And you're also not there to say, I'm better than you. You're there to say, I'm great. I believe in our product. I believe in our process. Please come in and try us. We think you'll love it. Like the saying goes, Gary Vaynerchuk, if you don't follow him because he's amazing. He wants to build the biggest building in town, not by tearing down everybody else's building, right? So it's not about saying that what I'm doing is better than you. It's about saying what I'm doing is great. I'll end on that note. It's a long enough video. I'll slice it up and maybe bring up the lighting a little bit. I know it's dark, but I just didn't want to lose these thoughts. Please comment down below. What is it about? What is it about for you? Are you nervous to market your business? Are you afraid to put the messaging out there that might make your neighbor say, who does she think she is? Oh, so important. Oh, you're so fancy. You know, or are you not at all? Does this not affect you? Is my rant falling on deaf ears? I hope it is. I hope nobody feels that way. But I think people do, because that's just human nature. We don't want to necessarily put ourselves out there as a character. And again, putting yourself out there doesn't mean you're bragging. It doesn't mean you're being a jerk. It doesn't mean that you don't have humility. It just means that you believe in yourself. And I want to believe in you. Thanks for watching. Peace and love. Have a great week.